Hi, so in this tutorial I'm going to show you how you can configure your account. I'd strongly recommend doing this before you start inviting in any crew into your workforce. So as an admin owner of the account, you'll have access to the app settings. So if you go into there, and I'm just going to walk you through these steps on the left hand side. So the first one is admins. This is pretty straightforward. When you need to add your colleagues, this is the other admin licenses you have. Just click invite new admin, pop in their email address, and then choose the level of access they're going to have. There's a useful guide in the help section explaining the different permissions those roles have. So make sure you read that. And then you just click send invite. They'll receive an email and register as you did as well. Time zone, this is set to London by default. So if you're in another country, just make sure you change that there. The same for currency. You can quickly change that. Company profile. Feel free to add your own logo. That'll appear in all communications that go out through the platform. Add your company name, and also if you do have a nickname for your crew, I know some agencies like to call them brand ambassadors or angels or whatever it might be, feel free to add the nickname. And again, just a nice way of personalizing your Liveforce account. Job options. Now this is down to each individual agency. Some agencies like crew to be able to cancel through the app because it just automates the process. Some agencies obviously want crew to always call and manage that process manually. So just to show you, what I mean by that. So over in the crew app here, we see, Greg's booked on this events DJ job on the 29th. And because we've got this ticked, it means Greg can actually cancel through the app. So say he's got sick, he needs to cancel, he cancels and say, oh, really sorry. Really sorry, sick. They can send in that message. Basically, the primary contact will receive an SMS letting them know that Greg's cancelled, and then they can go in and then find a replacement. If you untick this, what it basically means is crew have to call into the agency, and then you'd manually remove them and find a replacement. So just up to each individual agency. This setting here under the job board is I'm a big fan, and I say this to every agency, is put your jobs on the job board. Let crew know what's coming up, what you've got going on. Even if you already know exactly who you want to use, I think it's just a good way of just keeping crew coming back to your job board. So this is just the default setting. So if click yes here, it just means when you're creating a job, by default, it's going to post it to the job board. If you want to turn that off, just press no. Just remember, you can change this on an individual job basis. So if some jobs you want to put on the job board and others you want to keep off, you can also do that when you create the jobs. Workforce IDs, when crew are added to the database into your workforce, they're going to receive a unique ID. If you'd like to match that sequence to one you've had from previous systems, get in contact with us. We can help you with that, setting that up when you're importing your crew into the database. Comms usage, that's just going to show you essentially how many SMS you've been sending out through the platform, the number of push messages and the number of emails, just allowing you to keep a control of costs associated with that. Now a little bit into the more fun stuff. Attributes, when your crew register or they're applying to be part of your workforce, they're going to be answering some questions about themselves in their application. And the first one is attributes. So as you'll see here, the items we have ticked is the items that appear in the crew app. So I'd recommend keeping this list as short as possible. So if you don't need their weight and you don't need their hip size, don't ask it, because it's just going to take the crew time to fill this in. And the quicker you can get them in the platform, the better, I think. Basically. So just to give you an example, obviously, do you have access to any of these vehicles? That's over there. And when they obviously, select that, they've got the options there to pick from. So I'm going to say I've got a van as well. There we go. Cool. So that's attributes. Skills. Now, basically, when you create a job in Liveforce, you'd first add a role. So it might be, for example, I need an event manager, to work on this. That's the role I'm looking for. And the skills might be something like that. They're DBS checked, they've got a driver's license, or it might be that they've got, I don't know, a first aid certificate. So that's what we call skills in Liveforce. So there's a nice long list there of centralized skills which you can go through and tick off if you want to collect, those skills from your crew. But if you prefer, you can also add your own customized skills just by clicking customized skill up there. So you might need, fire breathing elephant tamer, for example. And maybe you want some sort of proof of that, so you can tick off validation, and crew would then be prompted to upload some supporting information about that. So that can be used in a number of ways. But just remember, when crew are registering, that whatever you've ticked off here is going to appear in their app. So again, just try and keep that list as short as possible. And you'll notice, obviously, when they tick off the ones that says photo validation required, they will then indeed have to upload that supporting information. That will then appear in the crew's profile. So that's skills. Roles, it works very similar. Again, try and keep the list as short as possible. When crew are applying to your workforce, they're going to tick the ones they're interested in working. They're going to say, yeah, I want to be door staff. I'd like to do event managers roles for you, and they can go down that list. So again, just keep it, short and sweet, basically, I think is the key. Select the ones you want visible and just make sure you press save before navigating to the next page there. Again, if you want to add your own customized role types, feel free to do so. So company application, this is just another place you can obviously grab that URL. If you want to send people that want to apply to your database, that's where that's the link you need to send them, essentially, or link to from your website. Payment options, this basically just gives you the flexibility to say, whether you exclusively work with self-employed people or employed people. Just make sure the options you want available are ticked. Over here in the crew app, you'll see, I've got the option here as, I can register as employed to be on your payroll. I'm prompted to give the relevant information like national insurance, my employment statement, student loan information, all that sort of stuff. And then if I'm ticking self-employed, obviously the only thing I need to provide to prove I'm self-employed is the UTR number. You can then add what we call company agreements, which crew then agree to in the app. So that's all under legal stuff. So you can add up to 4 contracts here. So just pop them in there and then make sure you save. Crew then agree to those contracts in the app, and we keep the date stamp there as well. So you can see that in their profiles in the workforce page as well. We also have this handy little section at the bottom called Customised Data. So if there is anything in addition you want to ask about your crew that's not covered in attributes, skills, roles, or anywhere else, this is where you can ask that question. So it might be something like, do you have any healthcare issues? Something you just want to know about the crew. So currently it's just an open text response. So whatever you ask here, crew then have that open text response. You can decide whether it's required data, and then whether the answers are visible to all the admin users in your account or just to certain levels. This is what it looks like over here. So you've got this additional information, and then obviously you've got these questions down here. And then the last section is the customization of your branded page. So this is the page crew go to when they're applying to be in your workforce. So I'm just going to copy that URL into another window just so you guys can see what it currently looks like. And one good tip here is actually to kind of drag that window out. So you've kind of got it open alongside. So when you are making any changes to it, you can just keep refreshing this page just to see how the changes are impacted. So for example, maybe I feel like come join the family is a bit wrong, so I want to change that to come join the team. I might want to change this sort of body copy here a little bit more, that's there. Maybe change the sign up to the sign up call to action to apply now please, or something like that. I can also change the background image there, And also I can change button colors and stuff. So if you feel maybe, you know, red's a bit more your sort of our colors, you can add that like that. So save the issues there. And what I meant by having this open in another window is just keep refreshing the page, and as you do that, you'll see the changes are implemented there. So it's a nice way to be able to personalize kind of that first impact, that first page crew see when they're applying to be part of your workforce. One last thing, in your settings, I'd recommend obviously uploading a picture of yourselves. Crews see that in various places in the app, so you know, make sure they know who they're talking to. Your name, obviously, I'd recommend having your mobile number here, so if you do have that, the ability for crew to cancel, that's essentially the number the SMSs get sent to. So if it is a landline number, that's not going to work, so you know, feel free to add your mobile number there as well. And obviously if you need to update your email address, you can do that as well. So that is the app settings. Again, just to reiterate, really recommend getting all that set up before you start inviting in your workforce into the app. Otherwise, they're going to have to keep going back into this section and update stuff as you change it. Hope that makes sense. Any questions, just contact us through support.